What's more relaxing than a sleepy little outpost out in the Taneris Desert? It's away from the action. It's away from the prying eyes of the Horde and Alliance. It's away from everything, really. Now, some of you may have been to visit Gadgetzan yourself. Anybody been to Gadgetzan? Awesome. I like you guys. Now, you folks might be thinking to yourself, hey, you, that's not what Gadgetzan's like anymore. And you're right. When the great cataclysm came a few years ago, it shook the world and turned Gadgetzan into a port town. Well, what even you know-it-alls don't know yet is that becoming a port town was the greatest thing that could have possibly happened to Gadgetzan. With that port came trade. With all that trade pouring in, that little town in the desert exploded into a major city, crowded with bustling citizens from across the lands, and rich with hustling merchants from across the seas, all coming together to build a beautiful city, lined with delightful little streets and charming little shops. But you remember that away from the prying eyes bit? Turns out there's a lot of people interested in a place like that. You know, unsavory types. And so as the city grew bigger and wealthier, those people came pouring in too. Until now, today, just behind those delightful little streets and charming little shops, there's a dark side to Gadgetzan. An underworld of back alleys and shady dens, worming their way all throughout the city. And that's where the real Gadgetzan lies.
Ah, Gadgetzan, the city of opportunity.
Gadgetzan, where the gangs rule the streets. Gadgetzan, full of swindlers and cheats. Sitting on sailing, the ring-a-ding-ding on the mean streets of Gadgetzan. Gadgetzan, where crime doesn't pay. Gadgetzan, but we do it anyway. Gotta take on your rivals for your gang survival and the turf that belongs to your clan. Every little kid, everyone is crooked.
Welcome to the big time, pal.
On the mean streets of Gadgetzan.
Now who's got the upper hand?
Mean Streets of Gadgetzan is Hearthstone's newest expansion. Well, all right, it's not the peaceful paradise I kind of promised earlier, but it is a city of opportunity. Now, there are different ways you can grasp opportunity. You can be like this fellow, get out your map, put on your shorts, venture forth to find your fortune. Or you can join the folks who really own the town. Behind it all are 3 notorious crime families, and they run everything. We recommend that second thing. First up, walking the streets in broad daylight are the grimy goons. They're the brutes and enforcers of Gadgetzan. They like to go around offering protection, but not as much as they like taking it away. But they're not just muscle either. If you should find yourself, let's just say, lending them a hand from time to time, they'll make sure you're well equipped for the job. But if you really get in good with the goons, they'll set you up with one of these. A gun that shoots piranhas! It's actually just a little specialty weapon made for hunters. But who among us hasn't dreamed of fighting side by side with tiny fish? Those are the cutest piranhas ever. But not everybody is a fan of the goons. There are those who really look down on them. Literally. Up on the rooftops, across the narrowest of ledges, and in strange doorways that seem to go nowhere, is the Jade Lotus. Now, they're not as crude as the goons are. They're not out there taking protection money or hawking silly guns. They're a sleek and secretive syndicate of spies and assassins. No one seems to be quite sure what they're up to, but they sure seem to be up to something. And if you get in their way, you might find yourself crossing paths with a Lotus assassin. He's kind of a slippery fellow, so it's hard to know exactly where he is. But he's probably in your base, killing your dudes. And finally, there are those who don't have the hefty handguns of the goons or the deft footwork of the Lotus. What they do have are loads of questionable potions and even more questionable morals. They're the Cabal. In the Cabal are spellcasters who have been kicked out of their own guilds due to creative differences. So they hide away in secret, brewing their potions and lending magical aid to those in need. If you come to them and you ask real nicely, they may offer you the services of the Cabal Talon Priest. And who wouldn't want his services? Just look at his talons. They're crackling with health. Oh, come on, that one's good. I like that one. All right. So now you know a little bit about our three families, but here's the fun part. What really makes them mighty is that each of them, the Grimy Goons, the Jade Lotus, and the Cabal, were originally formed by a coalition of 3 different classes. And these 3 classes in each family have decided they like working together. So in the mean streets of Gadgetzan, we've created a brand new type of card, the tri-class card. Each family has their own exclusive set of them. This is how it works for the Cabal. In the Cabal are mages, priests, and warlocks. So their tri-class cards can be played in any one of those classes' decks. Here's an example. The Cabal Courier. So that potion icon in the corner there, the emblem of the Cabal, indicates that this is one of the Cabal's tri-class cards, which means that this industrious harpy can be played in any mage, priest, or warlock deck. It is super fun tinkering with tri-class cards to see how they play and feel in each of their different classes. On top of that, just to mix things up even more, when you play the Courier, you get to discover a card from those classes. So if you've ever wished that your warlock could get his hands on some healing, or that your priest could throw a fireball or two, she may be able to help you out. Now, it's not easy getting 3 classes to work together like that. So each family has their own fearless leader. For the Cabal, they have their captain, their kingpin, their chief concocting officer, Kazakis. Kazakis himself is a tri-class card, and is one of the most exciting cards we've ever made. Because with Kazakis, you get to create a custom spell. Here's how that works. When you summon Kazakis, he's going to make a potion for you. And depending on how powerful you want that potion to be, you choose a mana cost. And based on that, you discover an effect, and then you discover a second effect, all depending on what you think you need now, or what you think you need later. And then, your job's done. He was supposed to say job's done. It's going to be really funny. Super funny. And then you have your sweet custom potion in your hand. It is really fun playing with Kazakis. With over 100 different potions you can make, there's always interesting decisions in front of you. And all that is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to learn more, please join us for the Hearthstone panel right here on the main stage at 12:30. We'll be revealing even more cards, including tri-class cards from the other families, and giving you a peek behind it all, how it all came together. We're putting the finishing touches on getting Gadgetzan ready for visitors, and we expect you'll be able to head in early December. But for you folks here at BlizzCon, we thought you might want to get your hands on it sooner, so it's playable on the show floor. When you've given that a whirl, come check out the Hearthstone Tavern upstairs on the 3rd floor. You can enjoy some great music, some tasty snacks, and duel some of our developers. And finally, you have to check out some of these matches between some of the best Hearthstone players in the world as they battle it out for the World Championship. The finals are tomorrow.